Never sell your Bitcoin. And so, as the final part of my plan today, I am announcing that if I am elected, it will be the policy of my administration, United States of America, to keep 100% of all the Bitcoin the U.S. government currently holds or acquires.
The United States government owns Bitcoin. An executive order created a reserve for some of it, with an instruction not to sell what goes in. This week at the White House, a reporter asked the president whether the administration plans to accumulate sizable amounts of Bitcoin or other crypto.
President, does the administration have any plans to accumulate sizable amounts of Bitcoin or other crypto?
The question came on the day of a short squeeze. Cointelegraph put two-day crypto short liquidations above $3 billion. On Coinbase, Bitcoin traded through $70,000 and closed above $69,000. 2 years earlier, Bitcoin had been an election promise. At that point, the government's holdings came out of law enforcement cases, not out of any decision to own it. The promise he made was about one thing, which was keeping them. He called it a strategic national Bitcoin stockpile. It came as an executive order rather than a law, which means the next president can undo it with a signature, and it binds the executive branch rather than Congress. That order created two separate holdings, a reserve for Bitcoin and a stockpile for certain other digital assets owned by the government.
Yesterday, I signed an executive order officially creating our strategic Bitcoin reserve, and this will be a virtual Fort Knox for digital gold to be housed within the United States Treasury.
Both sit under the Treasury, and the split matters because only one of them is about Bitcoin. The reserve has a rule about selling.
From this day on, America will follow the rule that every Bitcoin knows very well: never sell your Bitcoin. That's a little phrase that they have. I don't know if that's right or not. Who the hell knows, right?
You do not sell your Bitcoin.
It says the reserve shall be capitalized with Bitcoin the Treasury finally forfeited in criminal or civil proceedings or received in satisfaction of a civil money penalty. That initial capitalization names no purchase. The president sat with the chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Paul Atkins, and the chairman of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, Michael Selig. With them were the chief executives of Coinbase, Ripple, and Robinhood, the Winklevoss twins from Gemini, the chief executive of NASDAQ. He used the meeting to list what his administration had taken apart, and he started with the man who used to hold one of those two chairs.
On day one, we fired Joe Biden's rogue SEC chair, Gary Gensler. I think we like Paul better. Do we agree? We like Paul better? Number one, he's smarter. And we ended the war on crypto once and for all, and it's been booming. It's been doing big.
Gary Gensler was the chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission under the previous administration. That agency sued Coinbase over operating as an unregistered exchange. It sued Gemini over its lending program. The next item was something he had refused to build, rather than something he had removed. A central bank digital currency is a digital dollar issued by the central bank itself, which is a different thing from a bank deposit or a private token.
So I signed a historic executive order banning any attempt to create a central bank digital currency.
A dollar in a bank is a claim on that bank, while a central bank digital currency would be a claim on the central bank. His order bars federal agencies from establishing or promoting one. The stablecoin law came after it. A dollar-backed stablecoin issuer holds reserves against its tokens, and much of those reserves sit in short-dated government debt.
Signed landmark legislation known as the Genius Act. I named it after myself. I didn't want to use my name, so I just called it the Genius Act, paving the way for widespread adoption of dollar-backed stablecoins.
Bitcoin has no issuer and no reserve behind it, which is what separates it from every token that law covers. Perpetual futures are one of the main ways traders carry leverage in crypto, and they were one of the main instruments through which the day's leveraged positions were liquidated. They're also the product the president raised next.
In May, Chairman Selig authorized the first ever true Bitcoin perpetual futures contract.
Bitcoin is, among other things, a commodity under the Commodity Exchange Act, which is why Bitcoin futures fall under the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. The Clarity Act would establish clearer rules for whether other digital assets fall under the Commodity Futures Trading Commission or the Securities and Exchange Commission.
I think what's most important next, of course, is this September 15th vote that we have with the Clarity Act. This would make all of the progress that this administration has made durable into the future, so it could survive for decades and decades to come.
The Clarity Act would divide oversight of digital assets between the two agencies sitting at that table. It faces a procedural vote in the Senate. 60 votes are needed, and Republicans hold 53 seats, so it cannot clear on one party alone.
And make no mistake, there are folks out there who they want to see this legislation not happen, right? Maybe some of the big banks don't want the competition from crypto companies.
The Clarity Act has passed the House and is now before the Senate. To become law, the same final text must be approved by both the House and the Senate, and then signed by the President. The reserve itself was never put in law. The same order tells the Treasury and the Commerce Department to look for budget-neutral ways to acquire more. He said so himself when the order was new.
The Treasury and Commerce Departments will also explore new pathways to accumulate additional Bitcoin holdings for the reserve, provided it's done at no cost to the taxpayers.
At the White House meeting, a reporter asked him where that stands now.
Does the administration have any plans to accumulate sizable amounts of Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies?
Well, it's been talked about. I think I'd probably rely on Paul and the whole group for that. He'll make a decision. You guys will make a decision. And I think if you came in with recommendations, two of you, if you came in with some recommendations, I would certainly listen.
Bitcoin supply is capped at 21 million coins. Any buyer, including a government, is bidding for that same fixed number. A few years ago, the idea of the United States buying Bitcoin sounded like a long shot. It does not sound like one anymore.
You do not sell your Bitcoin.